Well, how you doing?
Great. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
It's good to see you
We
too.
are having this today is the second day of our festival. We've had
Hmm.
all these great films, world premieres, and now this. So I'm very honored that you're with us. So thank you. Just so
Thank
everybody
you,
who's
Avi.
watching knows right now, um, Dean Gold contacted me out of the blue one day and said, I heard that you could act in Yiddish. And I said, well, I've done a couple of things. And so he invited me to participate in this movie. And all I can say is this movie was an eye-opening, stunning experience, not just because it's such a great film, which you'll tell us a little bit about later, but also because of the fact that you're the one who made it. And all the people working on it were like under the age or mostly under the age of, 27.
Hmm.
So, Dean, tell us a little bit about how did you come up with the idea? Why did you want to make a movie about this subject and why in Yiddish?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And it was, I mean, we did make, I think it's been 3 years now since we finished the movie. So I think, I think I was interested in doing anything in Yiddish. The reason being is, I'm Israeli and obviously I speak Hebrew, but as some of you know, the state of Israel declared a sort of war on Yiddish in the early years, trying to transition Ashkenazi Jews from
Oh, Dean froze. We have a frozen Dean. Oh my, Dean, I think I lost you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have me for now until Dean gets back. I'll tell you a little bit about the movie. And, more importantly, that I think Dean was ahead of his time because since Dean made this movie, which went on to win major awards at film festivals all over the world, it was even eligible for an Academy Award this last year. I mean, we didn't obviously we weren't nominated, but it was eligible. It was one of the finalists for the Academy Awards this year because it won a short film festival in Los Angeles, which made it eligible. But it was ahead of its time because ever since Dean made that movie, so many more Yiddish broadcast projects have come to light. For instance, there was a movie called Menashe that was at the Sundance Film Festival. It got audience selection at Sundance. It also was, if you watch Netflix, you'll see there are several series now on Netflix that have been recognized and are going, unorthodox, which has a lot of Yiddish, a little bit of Hebrew, some English. Um, it was nominated for 9 Emmy Awards, amazing. There's a series called Shtisel, which is also on Netflix. It's going into its third season, and it's almost all Yiddish, almost all Hebrew. It's quite stunning. So it's quite fascinating. I'm not sure what happened to Dean. I guess we lost Dean. And so when Dean called me up and said, I'm interested in having you participate in the film, I thought that was really extraordinary. All right, so I'm trying to watch simultaneously and see. We did lose Dean, and I guess he is not able to come back at the moment. So I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sure, what that's going to do. But sure, why not? Could you please? Um, yeah. So this film Shehita that you just saw, for those of you who watched the film, um, there is there are so many different elements to the film that I find fascinating. First of all, the concept of what is the film really about? Is it about religion? Is it about um, science? And the struggle between science and religion and faith. The character that I play is now very Orthodox. He came back to the Orthodoxy. He was born in the Orthodoxy. He left and went to the secular world. And then he came back to the Orthodoxy. But the Orthodox don't accept him as being part of their world. And so when this tragedy happens, this blood, and the blood represents the blood libels, if you go back in history, there's always this element of, the Jews are always associated with, we're going to drink Christian blood for our matzah. And even today, there are people in the QAnon movement who are promoting the protocols of the elders of Zion, which is exactly that concept. Here comes Dean. Dean's coming back. I hope we get him. His internet went out? Yeah, I'm not surprised. There he
Yeah, hey,
is.
Ali.
Dean's back.
Hey,
I was doing a monologue. I went off and started a whole monologue about what the film is really about. But why don't you
I'm
tell us?
sorry I missed it. I'm so
Why
sorry.
don't, well, you and I talked about it a lot when we were shooting the film.
Right.
What is the movie really about? So finish telling us about why you made the film and why in Yiddish, and then tell us what you wrote and what you think the film really represented.
Yeah. So I'm not sure in which point I disconnected, but I think I was just saying that I think cinema is such a fascinating tool to explore memory and tradition, and really Yiddish as a language is something that's so ingrained in the Jewish experience of so many. So it's kind of interesting the idea of bringing more, I would say, like genre elements, like thriller and horror. I think that's what it really starts from. The idea, I think the first idea was to make a Yiddish horror movie. And that kind of like it eventually it became its own thing. I don't think it's really a horror anymore. But yeah, like what Tekken is like very like what is now almost like a niche tradition, a language not many people speak, and trying to popularize it and make it accessible for people who don't know anything about it, using more mainstream cinematic tools of suspense and thriller and things we know from cinema, and that seemed cool to me. I think that's how the idea came to be. Then the movie became something I think bigger than that. I can't. I mean, I don't know if it's really my role to tell anyone what the movie is about because I think to me it's about many things. It's definitely about it's about immigration and immigration, Jewish immigration to North America and to Canada. It's about the preservation of culture. It's about the clash of values between an insular community and the larger community in which it lives. Um, it's about morality and the morality of the individual and the morality of the community. It's about tradition. It's about the Jewish law versus the law of the state.
Right.
And I think
Faith,
there's a lot in there
faith and science. This is
for
what I'm
sure.
starting to tell people. This
Hmm.
idea that people have blind faith and then there's science.
Hmm.
And sometimes they clash. I mean, we're living in America right now where COVID-19 is a serious problem. And there
Hmm.
is science. But there is all this other side that says, no, no, it's not. It's really not what you think it is. Um, I think you were ahead of your time, Dean, because after you made this movie, suddenly Yiddish became like super hip. Like suddenly the Netflix has, two shows in Yiddish between Shtisel and Unorthodox, which was
Hmm.
nominated for, I don't know, 9 Emmy Awards. This little film, your little 30-minute Yiddish horror movie, was nominated and won many, many awards all over the world. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I guess what is that? How did that, how did you react to the idea that you made this film? And I don't know what your expectations were, but then how did you react to what happened to it?
I was honored for sure. Yeah, we're so happy. People were invested in this movie and connected to it, and it wasn't obvious that would be the case. The movie is 26 minutes, which is long for a short format. Um, it's not a feature, but for a short movie, it's considered long, and
Right.
I think something that definitely kept occupying us as we're making it is, well, is it gonna be com- communicable? Like, is anyone gonna be able to connect to it who does not speak Yiddish? And is it just gonna be three people speaking a language nobody understands about the subject matter most people don't know anything about?
Right.
And the fact that the movie does have this universal human compound that people know nothing about the culture or about Jewish culture or Yiddish culture, are still able to connect to it and experience something and find their own experience within it. I think that's really special. And I think that definitely gave me the idea or the affirmation that um, something was done right and and that we told a human story first and foremost.
Right.
So yeah, it was very moving to see people connected to it for sure.
Right. Um, Tell me about your crew, because what I was
Hmm.
most impressed with when we were shooting the film was the incredible dedication of every single person involved with the film. And none of them understood a word that we were saying.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you gathered all the people who were involved.
No, you're absolutely right. It was a crew of very small crew of very very hardworking, dedicated people. It was our students' firm. It was for Ryerson University in Toronto. So most of them were students that were in the program. Obviously, yes, they did not speak a word in Yiddish, but I think there was a sense that we're working hard and that there is a vision that we're working toward. It was a very small set. I believe we were only like 10 people
Right.
for production that we usually go with like 40, 50 at least. It was an ambitious shoot. It was outside in the middle of the cold. We can probably tell a little bit more about it. And we have like dressed the entire set to make it look like a Yiddish house, Ashkenazi Hasidic house. It was not to start with. It was a little farmhouse in the middle of the Canadian country. So nothing Jewish about it
Right.
whatsoever. The costumes, the language, the translation. I think the only one we had like a few people who were not students, obviously the actors and Hindi who translated the script and was on set. Sort
Did
of
an
like a
amazing
bridge.
job. Right.
Incredible work, incredible. She trained Max and Nina, who did not speak a word in Yiddish. She
Right.
trained
I was going to
on the
say, I
language.
remember
Yeah.
very well. It was
Hmm.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, also working as a volunteer, really just out of like dedication and belief in the idea. It was really special.
So, was how many films had you made before this film? And how many films have you made since? And what are your plans coming up? And what kind of plans do you have for this film, if any? I mean, I have
Hmm.
plans, but I'd like to hear yours.
Yeah, well, there's a lot in this question. I think when I did this movie, I was still a student, so all my work was short films for just assignments for universities and trying to develop my own stuff. I graduated since, so I did two short films. One is a documentary that I actually just finished, and we're seeing it out. I'm hoping to give it a new stage.
What is it about?
Um, what it's about? Well, it's a very interesting story about a German Israeli couple who, in the age of 84, decided they don't want to get any older, and they decided to finish their lives together. And they were not sick. They were surrounded by their loving family. They were in good health, but they decided they don't even want to entertain the idea of suffering or becoming a burden on the family. So they played some classical music, took some pills, and finished their life together, hugged in their bed. And then the entire process was documented very much in detail by their youngest son, who knew about their plan. It was not a secret. So he documented them, interviewed them about their decision and why they were doing it. Um, Even 3 days before they did it, he still interviewed them and kind of like accompanied them in the process, all through his camera. So yeah, the documentary is very much it's utilizing the materials he shot, but it
Wow.
also includes interviews with the family members. The kids were now a little bit older, and what they went through in the family as their parents were making the decision.
Where did this happen?
That was in Kibbutz Magan
Oh,
in
in Israel.
Israel.
Wow.
Yeah, they're an Israeli couple. I went to shoot it in Israel last June and been editing it ever since. So yeah, it's been
Wow. What a
very very interesting story.
amazing story.
Yes,
And
very
that
different.
goes, and suicide in the Jewish world is so unaccepted, and it has
Hmm.
never really been acceptable in the Jewish world, certainly
For
the
sure.
religious Jewish world.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. What an amazing story. God.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, and we think the materials we've been really lucky to work with really amazing materials. So yeah, really excited for this project. This is supposed to come
When is
out
it, when
anytime
are you
next month.
expecting to release it?
It depends on our festival success. I would probably estimate sometimes in the winter, but we'll definitely keep you updated. I mean, it's a very exciting project for us.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but
Congratulations.
well, thank you very much. But yeah, for this project, like you said, we've been very fortunate to screen in all sort of venues. And now the movie is a little bit old, so we're definitely considering what next. I know you have a few ideas for it, but yeah, any stage we get to show it like this one is giving the movie a little bit more life is really incredible.
Again, I find that you were, right ahead of the curve because,
Hmm.
like I said, Netflix and all these other Yiddish, even the American Pickle that Seth Rogen just
Right.
came out with, suddenly Yiddish seems to be everywhere. But you were dealing with this religious Orthodox community and dealing with issues that are so iconic in the Jewish experience. The blood libel, the fact that the cows are giving blood instead of milk and are bleeding that way,
Hmm.
brings to mind the thousands of years of the blood libels against the
Hmm.
Jews. And I was just saying before you came back after we lost you, the idea that today, as we are sitting here today, there is a woman who won a primary in Texas who belongs to QAnon, who is promoting the protocols of the elders of Zion, which is all about the blood libel and the
Hmm.
Jews drinking Christian blood to make their matzahs during Passover. Um, I mean, once again, I think you were, right on that curve. This idea of faith versus, science. Here we are living in the COVID times, and Canada. You guys are a little luckier than we are. You at least are dealing with it scientifically. We're dealing
Hmm.
with it emotionally. I don't want to wear no damn mask. Well, people are getting sick and dying. There's 190,000 dead Americans, but there's science. And your
Hmm.
film, on a much smaller and different level, of course, really deals, I believe, with that issue. What do you believe? God says this, take the cows and go north and give them to the goyim. And my character says, no, wait a minute. Maybe we should talk to like a veterinarian or a doctor or a scientist before we really have a blood libel on our hands and they blame us for their deaths. So, again, I congratulate you for
So
really.
thank you. I think the movie was really about COVID. We just didn't know it yet.
Good.
No,
Well,
for sure. Yeah, it keeps living.
cool. Dean, is there anything you want to tell people about yourself and the movie and what you do or what you want to do in the future that I haven't thought to ask you as we
No,
come?
I think again, like stages like this when we can show this movie and engage with people as strange and new at platform as it is. This is really exciting. Um, my um, my occupation is a film director. I will continue to tell stories, whether in Yiddish or in other languages. Um, this is what I love to do and what I always found passion and fulfillment in doing. And yeah, thank you too, Avi. I don't know how much you told people about it and how much they knew, but it took a lot of faith on your side coming to the student production in Toronto all the way from Miami in the middle of the winter, knowing really nothing about any of us.
It was cold. I'll say
No
that.
doubt.
I remember the first day of our shooting when it was snowing and it was like a blizzard outside, and we were
Yeah,
shooting outdoors and I was
yeah,
freezing, but it worked. It actually made it,
yeah.
very real. So,
A little story, maybe just to end up with. I like to tell people also about faith. Is the first day we were shooting. I think the first shot that we shot was a very long, Steadicam shot outside. It was snowing. You walk out from the house. You talk to Max. You go into the barn, like a 3 minute shot. It goes for a really long time. We track you in the camera, and
right.
there is just crazy wind. I mean, we try to block the wind from the camera. You're obviously from Florida, so you're not very accustomed to the cold. And I think the fourth or the fifth take, it doesn't go too well. We're trying to one take to another, trying to figure out this long shot. And I think the fifth take, you slipped on the ice and got hit in the back of your head.
I remember.
Um, so my immediate thought, and I think everyone's on set, was, did he just get concussion? Is this the end of the shoot? Now, had you got concussion, there would be no movie, and there would be nothing I could do
Right.
to make this movie happen or change it. And we planned this movie for so long. We put so much of our time and effort and money into it, and it's like one moment of bad luck could have changed the course of everything.
Right.
So we were lucky. You were fine, and the movie continued to shoot, and everyone was good.
Right.
But I think it just reminded to like the fragility of movie sets and any creation and anything you do in life, and also how you can only plan so far, but you get to a point where things are becoming bigger than you, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, there's a very
Yeah.
famous Yiddish saying that has been translated into English, of course. Man tracht und Gott lacht. A man thinks and makes plans, and God laughs. So
Yeah, yeah,
there you have it. Good.
yeah, absolutely.
Great. Dean, thank you so much. I'm really grateful that you joined us. I'm very honored to have you to be part of our festival. And I love this movie so much. And not just because I'm in it, but because I really think it's a great movie. And it's been proven to be such with all the recognition that you and the whole crew have received. So congratulations. And I can't wait to talk to you again. And until the next festival.
Thank you, Avi. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.
And for everybody else that's here, Dean is going to go, and we're going to remind you that this entire festival, all 44 events, over 7 days is free to the public. So tell your friends, share with your friends. All or most of the projects are going to stay up on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page. So if you missed anything, you should be able to see it. Some of them we've had to take down because of licensing, that we were only given the right to show it once and we had to take it down. But, we couldn't have done this without our sponsors, the Betsy Hotel, Gallery 22, Miami-Dade County, the University of Miami, Restream, JBS. The list goes on and on. If you go to our website, you'll see on one of the pages the list of our sponsors and our partners and all our affiliated organizations. So I'm very grateful to them. And also, because we've received grant funding from Miami-Dade County, there is a survey that we'd like you to take. So please go to our website, go fill out the survey, tell us what you think, tell us how you like it, tell us what you don't like, tell us how we can make it better for next time. And of course, finally, without your support and without the support of our sponsors, we can't afford to bring you free entertainment. So please, anything that you feel comfortable with, just like with PBS, I used to do PBS pledges all the time with my shows that were on PBS. The idea that that's an entire network, that although they get a lot of sponsors and a lot of support, without the public support, they cannot go on. And so we need your help, and we want to help you, help us to enjoy Jewish culture and Yiddishkeit, and the real essence of what it means to be creative and to be Jewish at the same time. So I thank you very much. And so I'll leave you with our promo video. And tomorrow we have a full day of events. Tomorrow we start at 11 o'clock with Yiddish cooking. And then we go to live from the United Kingdom, from London, Paulina and Merlin Shepherd. And then we have Joshua so-called Dolgan live from Toronto in concert. Then we have a lecture of my mom's book, Legends of the Aleph-Bet, The Origins of the Alphabet. And at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we have Yid Life Crisis. The two guys from Montreal, one of them now lives in LA. They're going to show their film Judaism. This is the internet premiere, followed by a live Q&A with Jamie Ellman and Eli Battalion of Yid Life Crisis. And tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, definitely don't miss Michael Winograd. So we'll see you tomorrow. Ashenim in Hartzigen Dank. And we'll see you soon. Seid gesund und stark.
My name is Chaim Shaked. I'm a professor at the University of Miami, and I am the director of the George Feldenkrais program in Judaic Studies, and I'm the founding director of the Sue and Leonard Miller Center for Contemporary Judaic Studies, which is a university-wide center at the University of Miami. If we look today at the Jewish world, the Jewish communities in most countries still have segments which adhere to the old definition of who is a Jew, but much larger segments today consider themselves Jewish because they are part of a tradition, part of a culture. One such important element has become known more recently as Jewish peoplehood, a subject which is of great interest to me personally and to the programs which I am developing. Jewish peoplehood includes, for instance, a very important component of the Yiddishkeit initiative. And that's why when I heard of this idea, right away, I outstretched my hand and we are developing a partnership.